Sabah and Sarawak, 2 members nominated by veterinary surgeon. Then here it comes part 1, part 2, right? So part 1, then you see they are very fair. 2 members from part 1, 2 members from part 2. Then 1 vet surgeon from among the staff of faculty medicine and animal science UPM, yeah, and 2 surgeons are nominated by the minister. So currently, even your dean is one of the Dr. Farhan, right? He's one of the veterinary council. He probably go through with this one of those that are nominated. Yeah. So you know who are the members of the vet council. So this council is the one that regulates our profession. Yeah. So this is the duties. Yeah. So you can see their duties, perform such duties and function, and exercise such power provided under this act. Yeah. And it also talk about temporary permits. Yeah. Like we say, let's say a vet coming from Europe, yeah, not recognized in Malaysia. What can they do? So they can get a temporary permit to practice, but it's only valid for 6 months, right? So every 6 months they need to renew and subjected to approval some more, right? So it's very important that you study from UMK. So very fortunate that you study in a recognized UIUMK, a very good university. Yeah. Then it talks about annual practicing license. Yeah. So annual practicing license. So you have to next time if you work, you have to remember every year. So this will be one of your duty to remember that you have to apply. Uh, you have to apply before the first day of December, right? Uh, After 1st of December, you'll be penalized. So usually it's up to now it's still very affordable, 25 ringgit. But if you apply after 30th, 30th of November, starting 1st of December, you'll be charged 50 ringgit. So you have to pay double. So for those who are very rich one, it's okay lah, no problem lah. Uh, yes, what else? So let me share with you. So at the moment, this is how it looks like. So you remember everyone, you need to hang this in your premise, right? Otherwise, you cannot practice. So usually you apply every year before 30th of November, right? You have to put in your name. So this is how your annual practicing license looks like. Yeah. So it will say your name, where is your address, where you work, and so forth. Yeah. Then just now I remember someone mentioned about CPD, right? So you need to make sure that you need to have CPD. So at the moment, uh, the CPD needed is 50 point. So usually what happens is you need 50 points if you attend the Malaysia Veterinary Medical Association Congress, you get 30 points. Then if you attend the AGM, if you're a member and attend AGM, then you get 15 points. Uh, then another 5 points you can get from any other, yeah. 1 day seminar usually is about 15 points, if I remember correctly. Yeah. So later I can share with you how this point system work. Yeah. Then it talks about disciplinary punishment, right? So if you, that's why I talk about liability. For example, let's say you complain by owner or complain by a fellow vet. Some of it, for example, you advertise your service or something like that. So there are some do's and don'ts, right? So this is the act that you go to, yeah. So the council might exercise its disciplinary jurisdiction, impose any of the following punishment. Okay, so order the name of such registered vet to be removed from register. So delist you. So this is very serious. So that means you are no longer able to practice, right? Lighter one will be, for example, order the name of such registered vet surgeon to be suspended from the registrar from such period, let's say 6 months. So you cannot practice for 6 months, right? Yeah, this is considered also very serious. Lighter one will be order the registered vet to be reprimanded, just a warning, yeah, something like that. Uh, make any such order as aforesaid, but suspend the applicant, therefore, subject to such condition as the council might think fit for a period or period in agree not exceeding 2 years. Yeah. So this is what disciplinary punishment uh, do under this council. Yeah. So, and may in any case make such order as council thinks fit with regards to payment and cost of the registrar and any, yeah, so this one is talking about uh, penalty in terms of payment. Okay, so this is a nutshell in Vet Surgeon Act. Okay, so let me share with you one of the place where you can get a lot of information about. Uh, so one of the place you can go is to this MAFMA. So MAFMA is the Malaysian Veterinary Medical Association. So far is the only vet medical association that covers all the profession. Obviously, later when you graduate, depending on what profession you go to, let's say you go into food animal, for example, there is MAFMA. Okay, let me share with you this affiliation. Yeah. So yeah, so there are many associations. So for example, okay, let's say you're in food animal. So there's a Malaysian Association of Food Animal Veterinarian. You all can still see, right? This is can you all see?
Yes, doctor.
Yes, doctor.
Yeah. Then this, if you are in small animal, then there is a MSAWA, Malaysia Small Animal Veterinary Association. Obviously, there are others like wildlife. Just now, someone mentioned he wants to go into wildlife, right? So maybe you want to go into this association. Uh, then there's others like Sarawak. They also have a veterinary association. Uh, then National Animal Welfare Association, yeah, and so forth. So then obviously, why is MAFMA so important? Because MAFMA is representing Malaysia in a higher association. For example, the World Veterinary Association, yeah, we are affiliated. Uh, then the Federation of Asian Veterinary Association, FAWA, right? So below us, there are MSAWA, which is affiliated to us. Then above us, we are also affiliated to the Asian Vet Association, World Vet Association, or Commonwealth Association. Another association, or we call it Malaysian Professional Center, Balai Ikhtisas Malaysia. We are also affiliated to this because this is consists of all the profession. Just now we talked about profession, right? So this professional center consists of like a federation of MMA, for example, the medical Malaysian Medical Association, Malaysia Dental Association, the engineering, uh, Then the MPS, for example, Malaysia Pharmacist Society and so forth. Pharmacists, they are also profession. They also need license to practice, right? And so forth. Lawyers, bar councils, and so forth. So this is just to give you a bigger picture. Uh, so in this vet association, hopefully when you graduate, you join this association because this association work very closely with the vet council. If you have any issues, yeah, this is the association that you can go to, right? Obviously, they also have a lot of activities, yeah, looking forward that you can join. But what I want to share today is if you go to this Malaysia Veterinary Medical Association website, you go to this code and legislation. Then you will see all the uh, codes and legislation related to veterinary, right? Veterinarian. So even let's say you come from Sabah, notice also that Sabah and Sarawak they have their autonomy. So they are not covered by the Department of Veterinary Services. They have their own vet department. So yeah, they also, for example, they have this ordinance to cover them. Just now we talked about the Vet Surgeon Act. Okay, CPD. So just to let you have a look, so that you are aware. So this is the CPD directive just to show you how it works. So it talks about continuous education, right? Uh, so it will have, okay, so it will have a formal, informal education training, presentation, social responsibility. These are the items that you can also get points, right? Uh, yeah. Then CPD activity conference, yeah. So if you have minimum 8 hours, that means a full day lah, technical paper, so you get 30 points, yeah. Let's say you have annual AGM of a professional association, you get 15 points. Then if you give a seminar or talk, let's say you present in the web congress, professional talk or seminars, right? Let's say you give a seminar, you give a talk at the seminar, so you get 4 points per hour. Yeah. So usually one presentation one uh, is 1 hour, unless you give like a workshop, right? Maybe 3 hours. Yeah, then you get 12 points, for example. Yeah. So yeah, even exhibition, right? You can get 5 points. Workshop, you can get 5 points per hour. So this is how you can get CPD points. Webinar, okay, webinar, 1 point per webinar. Let's say you have to attend 10 webinar just to get 10 points, for example. Online courses need to be recognized and so forth. Yeah. So at the moment you need 50 points. Yeah, then they will have forms for you to record all your points, right? This is something that you have to submit together with your annual practicing license when application. Yeah. So these are the key item. Yeah. So yeah. So this like I say, there are many X. Yeah, the X can be many pages, right? So let me show you the actual. Just now I just extract all the key important item, but the real X is 39 pages. Yeah, you see 39 pages. Then they will talk about all these things. Yeah. So just now was just an extract of these 39 pages. Yeah. Okay, so you have time, you can read the detail, obviously. But like I say, use this as a reference, not so much on as yeah, going to be very dry, right? So any question so far on the most important act that regulates us before we go to the animal act? Yeah. Any question from the no? Then I quickly go to animal act. Yeah, so animal act is probably the next important one because most of us we deal with animal right in our daily job. So the animal act, uh, an act to amend and consolidate the law for preventing the introduction into and the spread of within Peninsula Malaysia of diseases of animal. So remember I said this act actually is under central government, right? Uh, is by DVS. Uh, Sabah Sarawak, they have another step because when we talk about diseases, animal movement, uh, they have their own autonomy under the state. Yeah, so they also have a animal enactment. Yeah. So it talks about preventing of diseases and control of movement of animals. So this is the when you are involved in this trade or when you are work involved in this, especially if you work with the Department of Veterinary Service, yeah, you this will be very applicable. And also for the control of slaughter of animal, for the prevention of cruelty to animal, uh, for and for measure pertaining to general welfare, conservation, uh, and improvement of animal in Peninsula. So some of these acts you also notice they overlap a little bit, yeah, because notice that we later on I'll introduce to you Animal Welfare Act, yeah. But this one is mainly talking about uh, disease control, transboundary disease control, movement of animal. Yeah. So if anything related to this is the act to go to. Then again, like I say, the section 2 usually is a definition. What do they mean when they say animal? So here it says including horses, cattle, sheep, yeah, dogs. And you see they put animal four-footed beast, yeah. So it includes, let's say you want to say tiger, right? It includes tiger because a tiger has four-footed. You cannot say, oh, tiger is not under this law because it's not stated. So here is stated any four-footed beast, yeah. So if you want to import a tiger from Thailand, let's say, you need to you need to uh, comply to this law. Yeah. In fact, under control, any age or sex, right? Animal quarantine, yeah, and so forth. Yeah. So this is then they talk about how how you uh, how you transport, including their enclosure, whether roofed or not. Yeah, all these things are all covered under this law. Uh, so we look, like I say, this law is another very tedious but applies to us. So we just look at the title, right? Like I say, interpretation, power to make order. No person should import any animal without license. So that means when you import any animal or birds, you need license. Yeah. So then you will talk about examination, detention, arrival of animal to be reported, import dogs, cats, so forth. Exporting to Singapore, right? If you have one, this is very common. Let's say somebody want to migrate to Singapore, to Australia, you need to export. The pet is very important, like a family, like a son or daughter, right? So you need also to look at this exportation. Let's say the animal is diseased or but yeah. let's say you want to send this animal to be treated in, or to make a diagnosis, treated in another country. Yeah. So yeah, disinfection. Yeah. So first look at the title, right? Then you will see whether this law is applicable to you. Then it talks about penalty. The other important part usually in all this act is penalty, right? How much is, uh, what is the heaviest penalty? These are the items you need to know, right? Because like we say, ignorance is not an excuse, right? So yeah, it happens daily. We have one vet, yeah, companion animal. He purchased a lot of psychotropic drug, right, without recording. Yeah, as you know, all this need to be recorded. So the officer from government came in, and yeah, he got into a long process of legal case. Need to recruit hire engaged lawyers and so forth, which we do not want our vets to go through that. Yeah, it's very time consuming. It's very costly also. Yeah, lawyer, as you know, is not cheap. Yeah, so yeah, so make sure that you know all this law when you practice next time. Yeah, yeah. So others will be like very important, will be poison, right? Because you, as a vet, you need to uh, possess and use drugs, right? So this poison drug talks about act to regulate importation, possession, manufacturing, compounding, storage, transport, sales, and use of poison. Yeah. So anything related to this use of drug or poison is under the Poison Act. Yeah. And then, yeah, as we told you, Animal Welfare Act is very important. They amended the law. In fact, there was a joke about this law. Uh, in Animal Welfare Act, obviously, it talks about injuring an animal. Let's say you whack an animal. Because this act is pretty new, they increased the penalty to 15K or 100K or something like that. So there was a joke when this act came out, is that it's more costly to injure an animal than a human, because the human one they have not amended for many years. It was still like 300, for example. If you whack one guy and he got injured, you probably just fine 300. But if you whack a cat or a dog, and you are charged, you are liable to be penalized for 15,000, up to 15,000. Yeah. So this, when we talk about Animal Welfare Act, this is the act to provide establishment for the Animal Welfare Board to set up function of the board to promote the welfare and responsibility, ownership of animal. Yeah. This is the one that I want to highlight. Any person who contravenes any provision under this section commits an offence and shall in conviction be liable to a fine not less than 20,000 and not more than 100,000. Very very high. Uh, and not just that, you or to imprisonment for a term not more than 3 years or both. So uh, very serious and very heavy fine. So what's more, if a vet is caught, it's even worse, right? You not only get fined and might be imprisoned, and you might even get your and can be charged under the Vet Surgeon Act, and license strip. Yeah, so very heavy. So I hope this gives you more uh, information about how legislation work and how it impacts you, right? Yeah, this is just now we talk about Poison Act, right? So these are inside the Poison Act. The power of the board, control of imports, yeah, sales of poison, wholesales, prohibition of sales, and so forth. Yeah, then we talk about what if Group A license, Group B poison, Group C and D. Then prescription book, very important. Next time when you come out, especially small animal, you need to do a lot of prescription, yeah. License, penalty, yeah. So another important thing, like I say, always look at the penalty, right? Uh, they have that interpretation. They will have the key topic that you're looking for, but never forget to look at the penalty. Then, yeah, so this is the one, the example that I give, yeah. Any person who willingly fails to keep any book required to, right? Just now when you buy psychotropic, right, especially the group A poison, you need to keep a record. So if you fail to keep, yeah, whether knowingly or recklessly, like I say, ignorant is not an excuse, right? That's why it's also covered here. Whether uh, you made the offense knowingly or recklessly, or even worse, still make any false entry, right? In such book, yeah, will be guilty and punishable, fine not exceeding 5,000, or imprisonment for a term not exceeding 2 years or both. Yeah. Then this one also talks about uh, second offense and so forth, right? So uh, talks about three if you have more. I think somewhere it talks about if you repeated offense will be higher. Yeah. Okay, so this is the Dangerous Drug Act, uh, Food Act, and so forth. So, so we take a break here. Any questions so far? Good. Did you get some? Has this been beneficial to you? Give you some eye opening about how this acts or regulation works? And like we say, sometimes you can be charged by more than one act, right? For example, let's say you abuse animal, right? You can be charged under Animal Welfare Act and also the Vet Surgeon Act, right? Yeah. So any thoughts? Has this been useful so far?
Yeah.
Very heavy. That's why, that's why I say very dry, but we try to make it, try to show you the important, the key points and where to look for. Yeah.
Doctor,
Yeah.
hi, my name is Maria. I have
Uh,
a question. Just now you said like the example for animal act. Let's say the definition is animal with 4 foot, right?
yeah.
So, the example was tiger. So tiger is also under wildlife. So which one will be applied? Is it like wildlife act or animal act or both?
Yeah. That's why sometimes the act actually overlaps a little bit. Yeah. But after that, it will be clear. So that act talks about usually that just now this act, right? Talk about animal act, right? Animal act talks about disease control transboundary when you want to export or import the animal. But wildlife act usually talks about when how you handle the animal in the wildlife and so forth. So they have some differentiation. That is why you need to refer to both the act depending on what action you do. Usually, animal act is when you need to import let's say zoo, you import a lion from Africa, so you know that you need to refer to Animal Act. But let's say you talk about some issues with elephant or tiger coming out from the wildlife, how you handle that probably would be in the Wildlife Act, right?
Understood. Thank you, Doctor.
Yeah. So we take a 5 minutes break. We come back 3:35. Okay, 4 minutes break. Bio break.
12:35, right?
12:35. Yeah,
Okay.
12:35. Okay. Okay, welcome back. Everybody back already?
Yes, Master.
Okay, so you're ready? Shall we continue?
Yes.
Okay, great. Let me share with you my screen. So now we move on. So now, by now, you should know where to get this act. I've introduced you to some legislation, some act that is important for you, right? That is relevant for you. Uh, so now we go to actual case. How actual case in action, right? Not just reading this uh, the the book or the law itself, very dry, very boring, right? So let me share with you a case where a case study, something that a case that happened with Food Act and some acts, yeah, related to prohibited compound in food. So before that, I have to quickly share with you, right? I miss sharing with you about food regulation. So food regulation obviously is under KKM, Health Ministry, right? So where the border is would be anything from the farm to abattoir would be under the jurisdiction of DVS, Department of Vet Services. Uh, then from the wet market, hypermarket, supermarket onwards is under KKM. But this Food Act also covers the food even at the abattoir level, at the processing plant, right? So like I say, this act sometimes they overlap. Although this act is under KKM, but is applicable to us. Why? Because this act talk about uh, the residue, right? Residue in meat, in milk, in eggs, and so forth. Yeah. So this is the case. Yeah. So in this Food Act, it will talk about, it will regulate, for example, food additive, right? Preservative. Then it also regulates the antimicrobial agent, right? So this is something related to us. Obviously, many of these are not related to us because these are in the food industry, right? For example, biscuit, all this food industry, coloring, flavoring, flavor enhancer, antioxidants, and so forth, right? Yeah. Then you see it also come now bifidobacteria probiotic. Some of this also is uh, included in our what we do. Then I want to show you this act also talks about meat and meat product, right? It talks about they regulate meat, fresh meat, minced meat, canned meat, and so forth. Yeah, which some of us might be, our work might involve this in the future, especially if you work in the food animal veterinarian. Then also fish, although we have a fishery department, but this fishery department actually, in terms of uh, inspection or enforcement, they actually pass it to DVS. So these are all, and eggs products, right? Liquid egg and so forth. So that's why indirectly or directly we are also, this Food Act is also important to us. So it talks about the standard, right? Milk, raw milk, yeah. So it talks about should contain 3.25% of milk fat, 8.5% of non-fat milk solid, and so forth, right? So what is the standard of milk? So this standard usually is set uh, by our KKM, but there's also an international body that sets all these tags, so that it facilitates international trade, which I will talk again when we talk about international body called Codex, right? So later on, you'll know more about Codex. So Codex is highly related to Food Act. Yeah. Then also infant formula obviously is in the Food Act, but not under us. Yeah. Then usually you will see, yeah, this is the maximum permitted metal, vitamin, and so forth. Yeah. But what is important for us is you see there is this table 1, 15 schedule, drug residue or MRL. So you see, are these familiar? Have you all used this antimicrobial before?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So this is related to you because you load muscle, that means meat, whether cattle, uh, poultry, pig, or sheep, right? It cannot be maximum that means this is the maximum it can go. And this one is, notice this is microgram per kilogram. So this is, if you want to commit, is parts per million or parts per billion. Anyone? Million is 60, right? So this is how many zero? If microgram to kilogram would be 60, right? But this is a milligram, kilogram is 6 zeros, right? This is 90, so this is parts per billion. Very, very small, right? 100 ppb in a way, right? So this is the maximum residue limit it can be in meat, yeah. So if it exceed, then this is an offender. Then remember here, it shows drugs are prohibited. When we say prohibited, for example, beta agonist, nitrofuran, and chloramphenicol, that means it's zero because you are not even supposed to use it. Once you use it, no matter how small, it will show in the residue. Yeah. So this one, I think you will learn in public health, right? Again, this one is on pesticide residue. Okay, so this is, we go to the case. So beta agonist. So as you know, beta agonist is prohibited, right? Just now it shows beta agonist is prohibited in the Food Act. So previously in the late 90s and early 2000, a lot of farmers were using this as a growth promoter and also so that the meat is uh, more meat and less fat. So because uh, the demand, people perceive as, oh, less, more muscular, that means it's healthier. Yeah, but that time they were using beta agonists for this effect. Yeah, so at that time in the mid 2000, this is a rampant. Yeah, so at that time the minister, deputy minister, given farm 3 weeks deadline to stop using beta agonists. Yeah, so that at that time, mid 2000s, many farms were caught using this beta agonists. So how they test? So usually in real life they use because they cannot be testing all, right? So uh, they were using screening tests, like taking sample, for example. So using ELISA, because why ELISA is much cheaper, and you test sample because there's no way you can afford to test confirmation tests for all the tests. One test will cost about 500 ringgit. It's going to bankrupt the country. So usually in the real scenario, they use ELISA test kit. So how it works is ELISA test kit, one plate is about, they can test 96 wells, right? About maybe 80 plus to 90 samples each time. So they will take samples from the farm and see uh, whether positive or not. So when we say screening test, that means not final or confirmation, is a screening. So screening is when we say screening, what is it prone to have? Anyone?
False positive, false negative.
Yeah, exactly. So false positive is the one. So uh, well, usually when they come out, very rarely it will have false negative, because once they use it, definitely it will pick up, but it will pick up more. So it will have false positive. So what they do is they will test uh, negative. That means negative. If it's false positive, then they will check those that are positive, and to confirm it. To confirm it, usually they will send to the Magma Kesehatan Awam Veterinary. Anyone has been to this lab, or you did your uh, practical in this lab? Anyone?
Where is this lab, doctor?
It's at Salak Tinggi, so it's our national veterinary public health lab.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
a few students went there.
Okay, very good. So you see, this lab is very well equipped and very modern. I took some picture, right? So this is the front of the picture, the building, very nice building, and they have LCMS. That means uh, LCMS machine, right? So they test using LCMS if for those ELISA that are positive. So to confirmation, are those positive really positive? Are among those some false positive? So once LCMS tested to be positive, that means it's confirmed positive. That's how they reduce the load of LCMS. Yeah. So DVS were using the newest LCMS machine. Positive sample were found to contain very low beta. Yeah. So uh, some farmers started to use beta agonists as young as 3 to 4 months at 3 to 6 ppm. Yeah. So this will all pick up. Yeah. So like we say, ELISA might have false positive for feed, but unlikely to have uh, false positive for urine. ELISA can show clear positive at 5 ppm and so forth. Yeah. So they were using this in real life. Yeah. Yeah. So this is how they collect. They collect the sample, the urine sample, then they tested. Yeah. So that is how in real life. So uh, this is just one example to show you how in real life it happens. Yeah. So like the Animal Act in 1953, it's a first offense, they will be issued uh, a warning letter. Yeah. Use out. Yeah. If a second offense, they will be prohibited from using abattoir. So when the farm cannot use abattoir, it's a big thing. That means there's no place for the animal to go to. Then animal is useless, right? Yeah. Yeah. So this is the stern action on farm using beta agonists and so forth. So this is how they control using one act. So usually they do screening tests by ELISA. Yeah, they take sample from the farm feed or urine, abattoir meat, liver, and so forth. So remember, in the Food Act, usually what organ they have in their MRL is usually the muscle, right? Fat, then liver and kidney. Yeah. So like we say, ELISA is a quick test and an initial screening test. Result very fast, result known within a few minutes. But it's not a confirmation test. ELISA is a quick test, highly sensitive. Test might have false positive. Yeah, yeah. So this is the, as you see just now, rectal permit is the only one not allowed to be used. So it needs to be differentiated. Yeah, so there are test kits to differentiate and so forth. So this is the test, how they collect sample. Yeah, and they can straight away label it is very important. Yeah. Okay. Then the other thing is feed act. Feed act is handled by veterinary department. So it's an act to control importation and sales of feed, including dog food. Yeah. So it's not harmful to animal, no contaminant and so forth. Yeah. So this is an act to establish feed board. So so you notice each act they have either a council or board to regulate, right? So in this case is to regulate food so that they are of high quality and safe. Yeah. Then the last part I want to share with you very quickly on veterinary product registration. So as you come out to work as vet, uh, you need to know that all the product used needs to be registered. Yeah. So how do you differentiate, right? So just to show you why registration is important, because to protect health of consumer and foodstuff of animal origin, to ensure that it's safe and of high quality, right? Safety and high quality is the main objective. Yeah. So the legislation. So sometimes we say two acts, but on this matter, you notice there are many acts involved. Yeah. Sales of Drug Act, Control of Drug Act, yeah, Control of Drug and Cosmetic Regulation, Poison Act, Dangerous Drug Act, and registration guideline for veterinary product. Yeah, so these are all the legislation involved in product registration. So the Control of Drug and Cosmetic was promulgated under the Sales of Drug Act 1952. Yeah? Like we say, usually an act will have regulation, right, that describe in more detail about the act. Then under this regulation, no person shall manufacture, sell or supply, administer any product unless it's a registered product. So this is very important. So the person must hold appropriate license issued under this regulation. So when we say this license will include veterinary license to prescribe and also pharmacist license to dispense. Again, usually it starts with a definition. So product means a drug, dosage unit or otherwise, mainly by being administered to one or more human being or medicinal purpose. Then the medicinal purpose will be all this, treating, preventing, and so forth, right? Treatment, so they talk about treatment. The body that is handling this is Drug Control Authority, right? So the main purpose is to ensure safety and quality of the product sold in Malaysia. So this is the member of DCA, yeah. So they have full registered uh, medicine practitioner and a veterinarian. Yeah. So these are the main function. Yeah. So when we say, so this is a important one. So as a vet, you use many types of drug. Yeah. So whether it's a scheduled poison, including antibiotics, uh, pesticide for internal use, so pesticide for external use, but control of endoparasite. Yeah. So these are all under Ministry of Health, under MPRA, yeah, the National Pharmaceutical uh, Registration Authority. Then, then for DVS is all the animal feed and feed additive. Yeah, so this is under DVS. Uh, Vaccines and biologics for veterinary use also under DVS. Then pesticide board is for external use only, yeah, for pesticide. So it's under pesticide board. So you they classify, so they schedule poison, including psychotropic or antibiotic, non-poison, over the counter. That means this one no need prescription. Yeah, these are registrable. Uh, then pesticide for internal use. So you know some of these product for pesticide usually you use for given orally or given by injection. So this is under Ministry of Health. Or pesticide for external use, but to control worms, for example. Yeah, endoparasite is worms. Yeah, then it's under NPRA. So those drugs that are registered under NPRA, you see they have this MAL number, registration number. Yeah, uh, ending with HA. So that means it's high one. Yeah. Then for those OTC, then it will be HX, for example. Yeah. Then some premix and so forth. Yeah. So feed additive, premix, as we said, premix. These are all controlled by DVS if it's under feed, non-registrable. Yeah. So if you have time, you can go into. Then there are list of ingredients not allowed to be registered. So in other words, these are banned drugs. For veterinary service, we have some like Evopacin. Uh, yeah, and then the registration is online. So a little bit about how registration work is usually they need administrative document. So usually it's a document called free sale certificate or certificate of origin, country of origin. That means to show that this product is registered or marketed in another country, right? Then you have free sale or country of origin cert. Or and the other one is the GMP certificate where this product is manufactured. Then the other part you see is quality, safety, and efficacy. So you need to show that this product is safe. You need to show that this product is efficacious and of quality. Yeah. So this is usually how these products are regulated, and especially for those who will be working in poultry or cattle industry, food animal. So this is something that you need to know. For example, withdrawal period, maximum residue limit. So this is mainly for food animal because for clinics you don't eat your animal, right? You don't eat cats and dogs, right? So this too is not residue limit, and here you need to know what is the duration of treatment and dosage. So because this would have direct implication of the maximum residue limit. Yeah. Okay. So in a nutshell, like I say, uh, ignorance is not an excuse, right? Don't waste your time reading, but as you need to prioritize and know which are the important ones. Like I say, go to the association website. You have a list of all the main legislation, acts or regulation that is applicable to you. Next time when you graduate, then you know which act you need to know in your fingertips. Yeah, for example, if you are wildlife, right? You obviously like the lady who asked the question, right, on wildlife. So you need to know Animal Act and Animal Welfare Act, and also Wildlife Conservation Act. Then if you work in a food animal, probably you need to know uh, Feed Act, Food Act, and yeah, obviously some drugs, right? Poison Act and so forth. Yeah. So, uh, so in a nutshell, this lesson is to teach you how to fish, to tell you what are the key ingredients in this law, uh, and very importantly, ignorance of the law is not an excuse. Right? With that, thank you. Any questions from anyone?
Doctor,
Yeah.
sorry, just to clarify, the last part about the registration of veterinary product, meaning that
Yeah.
if we open clinic, then we want to sell the product, we have to register. Is that correct?
No, no, no. So that one is just for your awareness how product registration is done. But this is usually done by the company that supply this drug. So in Malaysia, every drug that is imported or manufactured need to be registered before they sell to, let's say, distributor supplier, which later only come to the vet clinic, right? But the important part of that is to let you know the value chain, how this happened, and to let you know that it's important to use the registered drug, right? To let you know how these drugs are registered so that you know the background, you know the drugs that you use, and you make sure that you use the registered ones.
Okay, understood. Thank you for the
Yeah,
clarification.
Hi, doctor.
yeah.
I want to ask, how about the equipments like the X-ray and ultrasounds?
Uh,
So, do we have to apply applications from the council itself?
Yeah, that one usually will probably have two acts that might overlap a little bit. For example, let's say X-ray, you need to have your your walls need to be insulated. Yeah. Uh, so that one would, I believe there's one part in the vet surgeon. Yeah, you see this part, companion animal premise and practice directive. So this part will have some information on your setting of your clinics and so forth. But usually for registration, it would have been registered by your supplier who sell you uh, the X-ray machine, and uh, and you probably just need to look at this part, and this person will give you advice on your on the renovation of the wall where you put your X-ray machine, for example. And this also give you like a guideline of as you open the clinic, what what are the facility and your layout of your clinic must have. I think down here, let's see. Yeah, for example here, it even show you, right? Yeah, this is the layout of your clinic. Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Doctor.
Okay. So this page very useful. This page from the Veterinary Medical Association. You can almost find everything, all the laws here. So hopefully you join as member after you graduate. Yes. Because this represent our profession. This is the only veterinary association that represent all the veterinarian. Yeah. Okay, has this been helpful to you? Has it teach you how to fish, especially on the legislation aspect?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So, so I wish you all the very best this year and for your graduation, and looking forward to meeting you the next session. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Doctor.
Doctor.
Thank you.
See you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, Doctor.